So, hi everyone, welcome to our another episodes of World Unveiled. I am Nancy Gupta from Team White Falcon Publishing. As we all know, illustrations are a vibrant and integral component of storytelling, serving as a visual gateway to the imaginative worlds within the pages, designed to captivate young readers. These illustrations plays a pivotal role in conveying the narrative, bringing characters to life, and evoking emotions. The visual elements contribute not only to the aesthetic appeal but also to the comprehension and engagement of young audience, fostering a love for readers from an early age. Today we have Nirupama Viswanath with us. She is an architect by profession and a self-taught illustrator, fueled by a profession for visual storytelling that originated when she began designing wedding invitation for friends. Currently operating from her own home studio in Delhi, she seamlessly integrates her architectural and illustrative skills, offering a unique blend of precision and creativity in her work. Her journey is characterized by a passion of storytelling and a commitment for creating meaningful experiences for diverse audiences. So, hi Nirupama, thanks for joining us.
Hi, hi, Nancy. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, let's start with a classic question. What
Sure.
Yeah. What inspired you to become a children's book illustrator?
So, like I said, my journey into illustration began when I started um, architecture. So everything is about design and architecture. And when I used to be an architect, I used to be very fascinated with design. And then slowly I started doing. A couple of my friends requested for some very quirky illustrated invites. So when I started doing that, I started enjoying character design. It was very exciting for me to see what I could do different with a person's face or make them quirky or show their true character in a drawing. So it was very exciting for me. So when I started doing that, I enjoyed doing the expressions, the postures, and I enjoyed working on the stories that came out through that. And you know how children love stories. So when I put all of it together, it was exciting. And somehow working with children is always rewarding because when you see the end result of how you weave the story and how they perceive it, it's exciting. So I think that's how it began.
So that's really wonderful. So can you take us through your creative process? How do you approach illustrating a children's book basically?
Sure. So my process is actually very rustic, if I could call it that way. I begin from the board, like I start by working on some sketches, and uh, firstly, I make sure that I delve into the characters, the book's protagonist, and I make sure that I get the protagonist right, and from there on, I establish a style across all my books, and um, I also love to involve the author in this entire process, and I believe that the author and illustrator work as a team. So that's why I always make sure to have a proper brainstorming call with the author, because as an illustrator, when you're looking at the story, you'd be looking at it from one angle. But when you talk to your publisher, when you talk to your author, they will have different perspectives, which may bring in a very different outlook to the book entirely. And another thing I constantly maintain in my entire creative process is I make sure that I give a fresh perspective to every page because children get really bored very quickly. So and it's a lot of fun when you see them scrolling through each page, and each page is like a visual experience for them. So in that way I also don't get bored and they also don't get bored. So yeah.
Because children don't know how to express emotions, and I think
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
help of illustrations only, they
yeah,
able to learn from their characters.
absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so
absolutely.
Nirupama, it sounds like a fascinating book for you. So, what do you find most rewarding about creating illustrations that resonate with young readers?
So for me, I feel like children not only enjoy the overall story, but they also notice some of the finer details. Like sometimes what I would have done is I would have dropped some like cues and tiny tidbits here, but children also notice that. And when you finish your illustration and when they read it, when they notice that, you really feel like, wow, okay. This is extremely amazing how children are noticing all these tiny things. And it also makes you feel amazing. It feels fulfilled to you because you feel like these details have not gone unnoticed. Like, for example, if they notice like how attire changes across the age, and they're able to categorize age, okay, this person is wearing something very, very, like, old or vintage, so it must be an older person. So stuff like that they notice very quickly, which is very exciting because as an illustrator we put in all these thoughts into designing the character. So when they notice it, it feels great. So I think that would be the most important.
So, your enthusiasm for creating illustrations with young readers is truly commendable, Uma. I can personally
Thank
witness
you.
working with you. So, how do you choose your artistic style for a particular book? Do you have any signature style or do you adapt based on the story itself?
I believe I do have a signature style. So this is like a debate that most illustrators have inside their head.
Yeah.
So we keep asking like ourselves if we really do have a style. But somehow I'd like to believe that I do have a style. So I try to maintain my style as organic
Yeah.
and rustic as possible. So the core essence of the style is the same across all the books. So in that way, like other people are also able to identify that, okay, this is Nirupama's book, or is this is illustrated by Nirupama, and children are also able to like identify. And this also comes a little useful when you're doing a series. It's people realize that, okay, yeah, this is the first part, that is the second part, so in that way it's great. So
It's interesting to hear that you have a signature style because having a distinctive visual identity can be a valuable asset.
yeah.
How do you believe illustration in children books can impact a child's development and love for reading?
Absolutely. I think as a 90s kid, I mostly read books. Like right now, we have other modes of information. We have our iPads, we have Kindles and everything. But I feel as a 90s kid, because most of my childhood was spent on like, our childhood magazines like Tinkle and Champak and everything. I feel that books are very, very important, and they form a huge part of a child's younger days. So what I feel that it really kindles the curiosity when you look at different colors, and you like when I'm reading comics from other countries, I really get to know, I have a lot of exposure about what happens in those countries, and it serves as visual cues for the kid, and it enhances their imagination. And when you read a story and then when you look at the illustration, you also tend to think, okay, this is great, like is this how it'll work, and you tend to ask questions.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important that we keep asking questions even now. So yeah.
And also, like I have mentioned this, young children do not always know what they are feeling and how
Yeah,
to
yeah,
name their
absolutely.
emotions. However, through engaging with illustrations, the child can
Yeah,
explore the emotions and feeling of the characters by evaluating their body language, facial expressions, by comparing
absolutely.
text and depicted in the illustration.
Absolutely. Like I remember working on this project with White Falcon. It was a book about a monkey in a forest, and we had done the entire story. And in the end, the author wanted to add some coloring book pages.
Yes.
So which was very new for me because I had not done that before, and I'm actually yet to see it, but. The author had mentioned that the kids had done their own spin on the monkey that I had designed. So I was like, that's amazing because they actually copy you a bit, but they copy you in their style. It's not always your style, so which is amazing. Yeah.
So, can you share a memorable moment or experience from your career as a children's book illustrator?
Yeah, I actually the first I would say the first time I worked with you guys with the author Dolly on the book, it was a very new experience for me as well because I had not done any scenes on an environment from based abroad, like not in India. So I don't know why, but I always start my books with children looking brown. So she wanted an entire English setting, and it was a lot of fun experimenting for me. And even in her second book, I think, which is just gone for release, we had done a lot of English food, like farm food, which was exciting because I remember when I was drawing it, like I was drooling at the food.
And also,
So
I think Dolly was very particular about the character. She don't want a
yeah,
white girl. She
yeah,
very much into dusky color. So,
yeah.
so every author have their particular choice of characters. We have to.
Yeah, yeah, it was a lot of fun, and so when I was drawing the entire English setting, I was very excited, and I had not done something like that before, so it was a great learning experience for me as well. So we enjoyed working on that book.
So, as you mentioned, working with authors. So, here I would
Mhm.
like to ask you, while collaboration
Right,
between illustrator and author is generally a creative and rewarding process,
right.
challenges may arise in the course of their work together. Can you mention some potential challenges that illustrator may face and how it can be resolved?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, I mean, challenges in anything is very
Yeah.
common. And uh, as professionals, I think we have got to find a mature way of handling it. So, main challenge I would say is because of some miscommunication. So, um, to overcome that, what I do is I make sure that I talk to the author at every stage, like my author and my publisher. I make sure to maintain a very friendly relationship with them across my entire process, and in that way there is no back and forth for me, and they also don't get this, oh, when did this happen kind of surprise. So and they also enjoy the process. I've noticed that some authors are also very inquisitive and curious about how I work, and they enjoy listening in on my process. I think if we make this entire process a very collaborative, in a collaborative fashion, there shouldn't be an issue at all. And of course, so apart from this, I would say just maintaining a friendly relationship with all three parties is a great way to go about this.
I definitely agree with you, Nirupama. I think here comes the major role of a project manager to
Mhm.
understand the expectation from authors and know about the limitations of an illustrator.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so that particular project manager can act as a bridge to make the process more smoother, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Yeah.
So, how do you handle feedback from authors, publishers, or even young readers? How important is the revision
Um,
process in your work?
I love feedback actually. So for me, it's like when I am working on a book, like I said earlier, I'm constantly looking at it from my perspective. And when I speak to my author or my publisher, or even like when I give it to some of my nieces and nephews, and when they say, "Why is this like that? Why is the head like that?" and everything, it makes me think, "Oh yeah, maybe I can do this differently. Like, why did I do it that way?" So and it helps me refine and enhance my own illustrations in that way. And this is very important for everyone because taking feedback will only make you grow. It will never make you, you know, go backwards in your ladder. And revisions are very important for me in the sense like I know that okay, this revision will make me do better later on, and this revision will give a better outlook from what I have been thinking of. So in that way, feedback is very important, and I take feedback in a good way, if I can say that about myself.
Because feedback is often mistaken for criticism. In fact,
Absolutely.
what is viewed as negative criticism is actually a constructive criticism and is the best
Absolutely.
find of feedback that can be helped to formulate better decision to improve and increase performances.
Absolutely, I completely agree. And I think every artist needs to start their journey with constructive criticism. So, yeah.
So, Nirupama, before we wrap up, kindly share your experience with White Path.
Oh, it's been great. Like I have worked with you as well on a couple of projects, and I've had a great time working with you. And a couple of things that I would say is that like there is an open line of communication with White Falcon, and for me, I've had all the freedom to do everything I want, which is great because it allows me to approach my illustration with ease and flexibility, and in that way, there's no design restrictions that is imposed. So, which is really great, and I think that is a very very significant aspect about White Falcon for me because then I can also work at my pace, and our relationship is again, like I said, very collaborative. So if there is anything that needs to be changed, then you can tell me upfront, and so can I. So in that way, it's great. So yeah.
So much, Nirupama. Is there anything else you would like to share with our audience? Perhaps advice for aspiring illustrators or any upcoming projects you are excited about?
I would just say it, trust your process, never doubt yourself. I know that we live in the age where we have this, self doubt which is lurking behind us always. We should just help that self doubt. I mean, help our process by, taking the self doubt in a good way and just keep drawing. And yeah, that's all I would like to say.
So, once again, thank you for joining us today. Your passion for
Sure.
the craft is truly inspiring, and we look forward to seeing more of your incredible work in future, Nirupama.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you so much for having me. It's been great. Looking forward to more work from White Falcon.
Sure.
So, yes.
Thank you, Nirupama.
Thank you. Yes.